Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 174 of the J Situation Podcast. I'm recording this on August 15th, 2023. How are all you wonderful folks doing today? Man, I hope you're doing well during this hot summer. Hope you are hitting the pool, having barbecues, doing some gnarly yard pops with some suppressed 22 pistols. Yeah, maybe you do some 9mm pistol yard pops. Yeah, if you're feeling frisky, right? Yeah. maybe you go large caliber. No, don't. I mean, maybe. Depends where your yard is. No, it's a great time to be into silencers. It's a great time to be alive. Great time to enjoy all the cool things firearms have to offer, I say. It's just, things are so great. I do have a procedural update for you folks. There's a change that has happened this year at Pew Science. It has grown, and we have additional help. The effort, for those of you who followed this for all these years, it started as just me, literally, and over the years, actually, it has grown, and over the years, my time has become more in demand to the point that it was actually affecting things in a suboptimal way. We are human. We do have families. People depend on us for all kinds of different things in our lives, right? So to continue the effort, to make sure it, in other words, let me make that clear. To make sure the effort could continue, and to have it continue the way you have known it to be, for the past few, past few months, certain tasks are being accomplished by highly competent individuals. I'll say that. These individuals are not and will not be in the public eye. Okay, so you're not going to see these people. They're what they're doing is they're helping with a lot of stuff behind the scenes, and then with things that were continuing to take away my time. Okay, basically things that were taking away my time from doing things like, I don't know, this podcast, and other, public facing stuff that I need to do myself, right? The public facing stuff, I'm still doing all that. Okay, so as the lab grew, I saw it as necessary. So, took a while to figure all out how that was going to work, but we have, and I'm pretty stoked. So the only glimpse of this really that you should see from outside the Pew Science Lab is a different type of posting on the corporate Instagram account. So it's going to be at Pew Science LLC. Everyone knows, probably, that listens to this podcast. We have two Instagram accounts. Okay. So that's the corporate one. So other than that, things for you, like the listener to this podcast and, folks that I chat with on social media, clients, people that I deal with, nothing really should be different for all you folks. Really, there's nothing for you to expect that's different, except you need to know that the efforts can continue. And that's good, right? So that's really where we got to. So your memberships that you give, and I'm not turning this into an ad, but I'm just telling you because you need to understand it. The memberships that you contribute with made this change possible. Okay, and without those memberships, without your membership, we wouldn't be able to do it. So, so really, thank you. I use that term. We thank you sincerely. From the bottom of our hearts, we thank you to keep the Pew Science effort going. You guys have made it happen. This is literally by the people for the people. I could not be more proud of it. And I could not be more proud of all of you. And I'm just so happy, man. I think this is going to be such a positive episode because I'm just so dang excited about it. So it's awesome. So I do need it, and some of you asked me, and some of y'all already like tried to mess with these people. I don't recommend that. Do not do that. Just so you know, important note about that corporate Instagram account. You got to realize, of course, I still have access to it. Come on. So I check in on it every once in a while, but the primary people running that, they're running it with review for me. You feel me? So there are some things you need to know about those guys, or girls, or both, or aliens, or whatever you want, gender neutral. It's 2023, right? What pronouns do we use for people? No, there's something you need to know about them. They're not going to answer your questions in DMs. Okay, they're not. Well, I mean, they might here and there, but I would not count on that. Okay, they have strict directive from me, and they're not going to deviate from the directives I've given them. And when they post the stories, they're only going to do that with a review from me. Okay, so nothing in general they do is rogue. You're not okay. They're not rogue. I'm not letting that happen. I actually got one of you, it's funny. I kind of let people know this was happening or had happened over a while. And one guy, or was it two guys? A couple people DM'd me and they were concerned. They had genuine concern. They were like, man, are you sure that's a good idea? Like, what if they, misrepresent the lab? Dude, I got this. Don't worry. No one is going to misrepresent the lab. Okay. Trust me. If that happens, they're gone. Okay. Instantly. So, then that's not even a possibility. So, okay. So relax about that. I appreciate your concerns, but I believe me. I know. So while they aren't rogue, I did give them some leeway and creative license. So they are certainly going to mess with you. So be aware of that. Don't say I didn't warn you. And remember, they're not like me. They're not me. They are not patient like me. I don't know if you've noticed this, if you've interacted with me on social media or you've seen how I interact with the public. In public, I'm very patient. Very patient. They are not patient. Because they're just not that type of people. I didn't bring them on for their people skills. Okay, I don't bring people into this for their people skills. That's not. I have my people skills are just fine. I can and if you don't like me, that's fine. But trust me, the everyone here at Pew Science is extremely technical, and a lot of technical people don't have the people skills that some others do, and that's just reality. Okay, but they are trusted. So if you treat them right, that would be cool of you. Okay, so cool. So if you have technical questions, you need to understand, and I've been very lax on this, guys. I've been super lax on it because why? Well, because I love interacting with all of you. I've been lax on it, but the fact of the matter is there is a pro email address. Okay? There's a pro email address for the pro Pew Science members. That's part of the pro membership, is being able to email me and talk to me about stuff and ask me questions. So that's that. Okay? And if you're an advanced member, like if you're a dealer or a company, you have my personal email address. Shoot me an email anytime. And the companies, they have my phone number, so they can call me. Okay? Duh, right? So they know that. Now, if you're a basic member, I'm not going to leave you hanging out to dry, man. That's not me. That's not who I am. And I think I've proven this over 4 years that I don't neglect people, right? So just shoot me if you're a basic member and you know what? You don't really want to interact that much and you just want to talk about something cool every once in a while, dude, cool. Shoot an email to tech@pewscience.com. I will get to it. I promise, dude. I never forget to. I might be late in responding, but I will respond. Okay? Cool. Deal? All right. I just want to make sure you guys know, like, I'm here, but I am going to have to be a little more strict because my time is really valuable, And to keep this going correctly, I just can't be, DMing every single person every day, all the time about things. It's just not going to happen. Okay, I'm sorry. Like I'm only one guy, and the pro, there is a function. Like you can go, when you go join with a membership at the website, there's a pro email address. Dude, that's like super cheap, and my time's expensive. So it's worth it for you, I think. And if not, that's okay too. All right. So yeah, the J Situation Instagram account, the account that corresponds to this podcast, of course, of the same name, is still my account, and I am the sole user of that account. So whenever you DM that account, that is me that you are DMing. Okay. So yeah, I enjoy interacting, guys. Just don't abuse my patience. I'm really patient. I'm real nice to you. Just don't abuse it, and we're good, right? Cool. I think the universe always figures out a way to balance things out. So I don't really anticipate any issues with all this going forward. So far, the past, I don't know. We've been doing it for a while now, but I've been kind of really, really taking a step back from the corporate account the past few days, and it seems to be running just fine. We got a heck of a participation. They did I don't know if you saw that, they did a quiz on the corporate account, and I mean, dang, the engagement was incredible. And it was just so cool. I saw that and I was like, man, I talked to them. They got a kick out of it. And so they're going to do more of them. And I think we could turn that into a thing. Let them handle that. Let them handle the questions and like figure out what they want to. Maybe we start to do some like, I don't know, some more difficult ones, maybe some scavenger hunts or something, for like, physics or like something cool to do with silencers. I got a kick out of that. I've seen, I don't really do quizzes. I'm not on social media. I'm just not that type of guy. I've seen in the past some silencer companies, they would do quizzes, and then if you get the answer right, you DM them for a free sticker. It's like, dude, come on, man. Like, I'm sure there are social media people who do that and they love that. And that, to me, that's not me. That's not who I am. Okay, I'm not saying it's bad. To me, it's a little, how do the kids say? Cringe. It makes me, I'm like, ugh. Kind of gives you the douche chills. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to insult anybody who does that. I'm just like, it's for me. It's like, dude, get a free sticker. No, dude. But hey, if they come to me with something and they want to do that, maybe they do that. I'm not gonna judge them. Maybe I need to keep an open mind. If people like that type of thing and that's something they want to do, then maybe we support that and we have them do it. I'm open to new ideas. I've just me personally, I don't. The quizzes are not my thing, but they love them, and I have to admit, I did think it was kind of a cool quiz. So anyway, okay. So hope that gives you folks an update. Some of you knew about this for quite some time, and enough of you that interact with me kind of more often asked me about it that I thought, I guess I got to just tell everybody. So yeah. There you go. So great to see things grow with all your help. So that's pretty dope. Oh, excuse me. So yeah, kind of a chill episode today, I think. Not nearly going to be as violent as last time. But we're going to, what I think we're going to do, we're going to talk a little bit about mounts today. And I took a photo. For you in preparation for the podcast. So we'll talk about that. We're gonna hit listener questions. I think that's going to be cool. We're going to hit those again because, hey, why not, right? And finally, hey, a little bit of talk about another publication coming for you this week. That's right. Oh, this week. This week? Yes, this week. 1 second. Okay, so last time I tried to, what did I do? I tried to get another timestamp for the ads. I realized that what I did last time was stupid, I think. I didn't get any feedback about it, positive or negative. So I'm just gonna continue on with what I used to do, which was go straight from the intro into these ad reads. But the difference today, I think I want to do is I'm gonna try to do these ad reads faster. Okay, so that's what I'll do. So I'm just gonna note for myself what time it is right now. 54 seconds. And then I'm going to go as fast as I can while still doing them justice and see what I can do. Okay, great. The J Situation podcast is proudly sponsored by Legion Athletics. That's right. Legion Athletics, a dedicated sponsor of the podcast and this entire effort. Nothing you do, exercise, sports, any physical activity is worth doing without consistency. Okay, you have to do it all the time if you want to be good at it. And I do believe Legion Athletics can help. Okay, whey protein, pre-workout, post-workout. They don't have everything you need. Okay, I know that, but they have a lot of it. Okay, I use this stuff when I get busy. I can't cook all my meals. I need to make sure I get nutrients quick after a workout. Do I need to pick me up sometimes for workouts? Yes. Do I need to pick me up for this podcast sometimes? Yes. Okay. Visit legionathletics.com. There is a link in the show notes for the podcast. Code word PewScience to save 20% off your first order. And if you keep using the code for double loyalty points, you end up getting a net 10% off everything going forward with points using that code, no matter if it's your second order or your 100th order. Okay. So get strong. It's important. Save money. Secondly, the J Situation podcast is proudly sponsored by Top Gun Range Houston. If you're in the Houston area, even if you're just visiting, they're worth checking out. In addition to a 15-lane indoor shooting range, they have the largest firearm rental fleet in the state of Texas. You rent pistols and rifles and shotguns and machine guns, okay? Check them out. You can go to their website at topgunrange.com, look at the entire firearm rental inventory. That's kind of cool. Before you go, you kind of plan what you want to shoot. And you can also, by the way, DM them anytime on Instagram at Top Gun Range. Check them out. Hope that doesn't piss you off. Sorry, man. This episode of the podcast is also brought to you by High-End Armament Technologies, a dealer of exactly that, high-end arms and accessories. And they got significant longevity in the machine gun game, the NFA game, and as well as significant expertise in both the procurement and operation of night vision, thermal optics, and infrared sighting systems. That's right, lasers. Lasers. Thanks for the laser feedback last week, by the way, guys. Check them out at highendarms.com, on Instagram at High End Arms, and they even have a Facebook page, which you guessed it, is also High End Arms. I hope they can help you folks out if you need it. Please tell them Jay sent you if you do contact them, okay? And finally, not finally, but almost finally, the Jay Situation podcast is proudly sponsored by Silencer Shop. You can use their kiosk, do your fingerprints and photos electronically, and in turn, you cut down on errors, you simplify your silencer purchasing process, you get a money-back guarantee. It's great. No transfer fees, no paperwork errors, just you and your silencer with no drama. It truly is silencer ownership simplified. You know, it's a pretty big deal for Silencer Shop to support the silencer sound standard and the suppression rating. It's a very big deal. So you should keep that in mind for the future. Also, there's the show notes have other stuff like True Shot Gun Club out of Arizona. They are not a sponsor, but there is a code. You can use the code word PewScience to get $20 off your membership, to get free shipping on stuff. Magpul, same thing. PSTEN. That's code PS10 to save $10 off your order, $100 or more at magpul.com. That link is there too. And finally, this podcast is brought to you by PewScience, pushing the silencer industry forward one test at a time. And you can visit PewScience.com for the suppression rating. It is the simplest and most accurate hearing safe rating for your suppressed small arms, and it's based on true human inner ear response of the entire gunshot from before the combustion takes place all the way until all the combustion is gone in the true free field with proper mil standard testing, the same every time for all these years. And that's why the data set is so great and so powerful, and it correlates to all of your user experiences, and it's just a dang cool thing to have, and it works. Okay? It's the home of the silencer sound standard. 7 sections, the most in-depth and accurate silencer data and analysis on the planet. It's cool, right? And you can support this podcast. You can support PewScience, and you can support all of our testing activities by joining with a membership at PewScience.com. It really will keep the lights on. I promise it will help. Please help us. There's also a donate feature if you can't contribute monthly. That's okay. A donate feature is fine too. And that's on the review page and podcast page. Every little bit helps. And something that's free, doesn't cost you anything, is, of course, giving us a great rating on your favorite podcast provider, Spotify, iTunes, whatever. Give us that 5 stars. Give us those 5 stars and help us have a 5-star day. Cringe. No, but really, we need to normalize express small arms and arm everybody. Okay, so let's do that. 3 topics today. Topic 1. Can you guess the muzzle devices in today's photo? Can you? Whoever guesses correctly receives the satisfaction of a job well done. So if you would like that satisfaction, please, I implore you, guess. Topic 2, listener questions are back. That's right. We will hit even more from the 5th solicitation, and we are getting so close to finishing. So I'm stoked about that. And then topic 3, new sound signature review this week. This week? No, you bet, man. You bet. Some interesting data in a regime that is not quite yet fully explored, as they say. So that should be cool, I think. I say. Okay, let's move into topic 1 at a time of 20 minutes and 59 seconds. Oh, snap. Dude, we did that in 6 minutes, the ads. Okay, I did the intro, and then I did 6 minutes of ads. Dude, that's totally fine. 1 second. Not bad for the amount of ads I had. I was going to say for the amount of ads I had to read. No, for the amount of ads I wanted to read. Thank you, sponsors. No, but I am serious. Thank you. Without you guys, we would be nothing. Okay, topic 1. Can you guess the muzzle devices in today's photo? Again, whoever guesses correctly will receive the satisfaction of a job well done. Nowadays, I know that isn't a lot for some of you, but it should be. Sometimes just having that satisfaction and pride should be enough. No, it is sometimes, again, just like I talked about, sometimes it's fun to have little games and quizzes and stuff. I get it, man. I'm trying to warm up to that idea. Again, I'm telling you, the lab folks asked me. They asked me if they could do technical quizzes on the corporate account. I told them they could. I told them, I said, you could only do them if you made people really think about the answers. Like, the quizzes couldn't be super hard, but they had to be difficult enough for people to learn stuff. And they were like, we get it. It's cool when you work with smart people. You can just tell them something, they're like, we get it. I'm like, cool. So I saw the one they wanted to do yesterday. I was like, yeah, man. It made me think we should do it more often for the public in general. I think maybe it could be fun. Maybe it gets really popular. We'll start having prizes. I don't know. Could be fun. Could get super complex. Could get competitive. Could be cool. I love when people learn stuff, though. And I have a feeling I'm probably going to learn stuff. I guarantee that. So what I did, I took a photo of some stuff I had laying around on the bench. And one of the things in the photograph, isn't it weird how we call them pictures and used to call them photos. And then that's short for photograph. It's like we're literally... It's like digital cameras in our phones. It's so crazy. I'm old. You remember developing film? No. Yeah, one of the items in the photo is a test host. It's a Beretta 21A. I guess they call it the covert now, because now it's threaded from the factory. Yeah, didn't used to be like that. You had to send it off to somebody. And that Beretta is something that the lab has been using lately for testing. And, one of the reasons, well, you don't have to go into all that, but, we were hitting a host that was really hit during the inception of the Silencer Sound Standard. So I decided to use that for scale in the photo to show you the muzzle devices. Sometimes people use bananas for scale. I use guns. So the more, but going back to the photo, the more you look at these muzzle devices, the more fascinating they are, I think. This is just something I was just kind of looking at them in the abstract. The gas dynamics that occur on the exterior of a muzzle device in the unsuppressed state as the shocks propagate outward to atmosphere can be very different. It can be very different depending on the device, okay? And they can differ depending on the barrel length and the cartridge and the type of ammunition. It can be really interesting. So there are actually whole disciplines of study dedicated to those gas dynamics in a certain state. And folks have worked for many, many decades during their career, their entire careers, to create muzzle devices that do certain things. It's really cool. And they're doing these things without silencers even attached to them. It's so interesting. It's quite fascinating, and it's very complex. The shock boundaries and the gradients all along these little regions near the device, they all interact to produce certain phenomenology. It can work for you. It can work against you. Okay, it really depends what you're trying to do. And depending on if you're trying to influence recoil or reduce flash, or maybe both, or maybe you're trying to do all that stuff and then still have a secure place to mount a silencer on it. That's really, really interesting. And then you have to ask yourself, when you mount that silencer, what happens? Because it seems like we've spoken about this a lot lately. I do get this question quite a bit, and some of that type of question is, do muzzle devices do the same thing inside the silencer as they do outside the silencer? And the answer is definitely no. Okay, it's definitely no. But they can certainly influence weapon dynamics in the when a silencer is attached. They can still influence weapon dynamics, but it depends on the weapon. And sometimes it depends on the silencer with which they're paired. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I have this discussion with lab clients, with research clients. Some folks just, they don't know that muzzle devices can affect silencer behavior. It's so interesting, and because it's definitely it can be a big deal. Okay, so that's one reason I posted the photo, because I was just thinking through all these things, and it was just a cornucopia. It was just a cornucopia of stuff, and I was like, man, how cool would it be just to take a picture of all that? I just had a vision. I was like, it looks nice, and so that was one reason, and and the other reason. The other reason I posted the photo, in addition to the intellectual curiosity and the aesthetic idea I had, was because I think it might be time to learn more about muzzle device phenomenology with respect to silencer performance. And I don't know, I see so many folks buying universal mounts and with all kinds of neat muzzle devices, frankly. Some of them are so cool looking. And, a lot of them are available all the time, everywhere. So, sometimes it's also good to know about some mounts that are not universal too. Those are cool. And, maybe it's cool to know about some that are common, but maybe not proprietary. Maybe some that are proprietary, maybe why they're proprietary. I don't know. I feel like it's good to explore that stuff a little bit. I don't want that to take away from too much of the primary research, the primary public research direction. But I do think I want to start talking about it more. We've had some great discussions when we brought up the SCAR, when we brought up certain silencers that behave a certain way, depending on the muzzle of the device, that can be more sensitive because those silencers are more advanced. It can, I have found some silencers that can take significantly high pressure and change a little bit behavior with significantly high pressure. Those can sometimes be particularly susceptible to gas dynamic changes with muzzle device change. But some silencers are just built different, and they just behave differently. You just never know until you test them. That's why we do. Okay, yeah. So please let me know in the social media comments if you can guess all of these in the photo. Okay, go on Instagram or whatever and go see if you can guess them all. Okay, there's a couple that are super tough. There's a couple that are super tough in there, okay? And if someone gets them all, I'm going to be impressed, I think, okay? So let's see how you do. Game on, my friends. Okay, this is fun. I'm having fun. We're having fun. He's modern. He's doing quizzes. Topic 2 at a time of 30 minutes. And 29 seconds. I'm so tickled. I was today. He's harsh. He's thrashing companies. I heard this quote today. Oh my goodness gracious! I heard this quote. Let's get into the topic. Topic 2, listener questions are back. We're going to hit even more from the 5th solicitation. Okay, we're getting so close to finishing this dang solicitation. Okay, but real quick to what I was saying. So I was so busy today, and I jumped on Reddit just to see what the latest outrage was, because for me personally, I have quite a stressful life in general, because I do a lot of different stuff. And so if I just want to decompress really quick, I'll hop on social media just to browse, oh, that's a cool gun. Like I saw a guy, for example, there's a guy on Reddit, he had a scar, and I was like, oh dude, dope. You did use, reloads on your scar. That's awesome. I asked him what gas regulator knob he was using, because I was curious. I don't know. I haven't been on there again to see if he answered me, but I just like to, sometimes I see cool stuff. I'm like, oh, that's dope. I wonder what he's doing. Just because I have to do that. So anyway, I was on Reddit, and there was some, people are mad about something again, like they are every day. And I read this comment where I must have said something on the last episode. A couple of people picked up on it I was talking about a certain mount device I have on my carry gun, and I casually said something like, I don't know. I was like, I need to change that or get rid of that, or I don't remember my exact words. And I swear, you wouldn't think something as innocuous as me saying that, it was latched on by not only the guy on Reddit. This guy on Reddit mentioned it today, which, hey, I'm not mad at the guy. It was just, I found it hilarious. I started laughing. There was that, but I got DMs about it, and I was like, oh my God. I am so tickled. I can't tell you guys how much of a kick I get a kick out of it. I start laughing because I'm just like, how can you be serious? Because the word this dude used, I'm telling you, the word this gentleman used in public to describe what I said, he used the word thrash. That I thrashed it. And I was like, okay. And I even told him, I was like, relax, dude. You would know if I was thrashing something. And I try not to do that. Have I ever on this podcast, seriously, no, real talk, guys. Obviously this podcast is a creative outlet, right? Obviously. And obviously I have fun with it, because I wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't fun. This is ridiculous amount of effort, but I get so much enjoyment. I know a lot of you do. So when he told me I thrashed, I was like, man, even when a silencer is louder than, a thunderclap, and you can't possibly even manage the signature in a way that would be responsible, you would I'm trying to come up with a general example, but what I'm saying is, even if a product performs in a way that is like super suboptimal for a large percentage of users on a certain gun, for example. Let's like say that theoretically, even if that were to be the case, like I always give it an objective description with regard to the performance. I don't dog stuff. Okay, maybe I've like made fun of things like, you know, here and there, but come on, man, give me some credit, dude. Like if I am like, here's one thing, it could be relativistic, right? It could be relativistic where maybe it's like that I'm so positive all the time about everything. Maybe I'm so positive about everything that if I slightly give an impression of negativity where I say something in the negative, like, oh, maybe I'm not going to use that anymore. Maybe because the swing from extreme positivity to that normalcy is so great that like you freak out. Is that what it is? I don't know. But what I do know is like, and I believe me, guys, I'm not upset. I'm just like, I think it's funny. But I started thinking more about it. Because there's been a couple of times in the recent past where people are like super like clinging onto stuff I said, like holding on to it like some kind of like gospel thing where it's like, oh, well, Jay said this, so he's clearly like everything sucks and da-da-da. It's like, no, dude, like take everything in context. Try not to get too bent out of shape. Try to have fun, and don't worry so much. Okay, like this is like life's too short, right? Like if I was upset about something, like okay, yeah. Are there things that happen that make me upset? Absolutely. Do I try to like bring them in here? No, man. I try not to. All right, like we all know how this industry works and like what's good, what's bad. Like use your brain, man. You can figure it out. You can figure out like who the good people are, who the bad people are, who the liars are. We know. Oh my God, he's calling people liars. He's thrashing. Listener questions. Let's open our spreadsheet. Enough of that gobbledygook. But dude, come on, man. He's thrashing. Thrash. I'll show you thrashing. Isn't that like a skateboard company or something? I don't know. 1 second. I'm not really I'm more of a BMX type of guy. I've been seeing this wild BMX stuff lately. I've been riding too. Somewhat of a shredder myself. No, kidding. That's a good meme. Last time on listener questions, we left off on global question 397, sub question 106 of the fifth solicitation. And just so you guys know, if you're just tuning in, there is a listener question metadata tag on pewscience.com/podcast. That tag will be on this episode. If you click that tag, you can find all of the other episodes where listener questions are asked and answered, and you can go back in time or start from the beginning or hop around, or I don't know. I know everyone does all kinds of different stuff and do that. It'll be awesome. Okay, so this will be no different. And just so you know, for those of you just tuning in, I have a global numbering system that is designating the actual number. So we've answered 397 questions so far. In the fifth solicitation or the fifth round, we answered 106. Okay, and that 106th question that we answered that last episode with listener questions was any plans for an FRP ranking. And I went on to talk about and give the answer of maybe. I talked about why or why not. I talked about some complexity. If you want to know more about the answer to that question, please, I implore you, go back to the previous listener questions episode. Okay, cool. All right, so now today we're going to go into today's questions. We're going to start off with question 398, sub-question 107. This question, this later gentleman asks, I want to see what the SB2 compares to the rest of the Surefire lineup. Okay. You and me both, friend. No, I mean, really though, at this point, for intellectual curiosity, in that we have a lot of research to indicate that all other things equal, a larger bore aperture can increase gross flow rate, right? Gross flow rate being omega, not alpha, right? But and I didn't say. Oh gosh, so yeah. So the for those of you who don't know, the SB2 is just like the RC2. the 5.56 RC2, but it has a little bit bigger bore, so that if you put it on like super short barrels, it's with certain types of ammo, it's not going to, if the ammo destabilizes, it won't hit the baffles. Because sometimes if ammo destabilizes quickly, let me use a different word. If the ammo doesn't stabilize out of the muzzle there, and it wobbles a little bit, what if you hit a baffle? That sucks. You hit a baffle with like a traditional ductile material, and you could impact it and bend it a little bit, and it'll obviously affect accuracy, and it's called a baffle strike. If you hit a baffle that's not ductile but more brittle, like a material like stellite, for example, if you hit that, it might chip or even crack. It just depends. So anyway, Surefire, I don't want to get too far off this question because it's like we're already off in the weeds, but the SB2 has a bigger hole. Okay, so that's what I was saying is like the reason why I agree with you that I would like to see the performance too is because we have a lot of research to indicate that if you have all other things equal, you increase the bore size, you increase gross flow rate being omega, not necessarily alpha. Okay, so when I say not necessarily alpha, that's because I'm not exactly, I say not necessarily alpha because I'm not exactly sure the blast baffle dimension differences in the two silencers. You understand? The RC2 and the SB2. Okay, because if there are any blast baffle differences, I don't know. If there are any, I don't know. I do imagine that some of the weapon function is not influenced as much if the blast baffles are very similar, just because of the way those silencers work. But I do suspect some of the weapon gassing could be influenced, like more specifically some of the blowdown dependent phenomena, maybe, and maybe the gas to the shooter, gas to the face. I'm not sure. It does make one wonder: is it slightly better at the shooter's ear on the untuned Mark 18 than the RC2? But you got to wonder too: does the louder muzzle signature result in a situation in which that cancels out? You know what I mean? It's real. I'm just really not sure about that, guys. I just don't quite know, just because of the gas dynamics on that particular weapon and those silencers. It's interesting. The Surefire system has an interesting gas dynamics. It's really unique. Not unique in silencers in the whole state of practice, but unique to the ones you've seen tested by P-Science. Sound and gas to the face, to the shooter's face, are to me something I want to understand a little bit more differently between these two silencers. You need to know also, this is actually probably good to say for those of you who haven't been around a while listening and reading all this stuff, Surefire research here at Pew Science, it's a bit of a labor of love in a way. Kind of iconic systems. I personally thought that we needed to characterize these back when I started the effort. With these team editions, the team, they continue to agree with me for that direction. So yeah, I think you'll probably see more Surefire stuff from Pew Science. I think it's just that it's just an important part of the state of practice for such a long time that we need to characterize them. So stay tuned for more. I know a lot of members want things like the SB2 and some others too. So hope that helps. Okay, hope I did that question justice. Thank you for asking that. I know people have asked me that before, and I've probably answered it before, but I don't know if I've ever answered it quite in that way before. One second. Okay, pardon me because I seem to be a little bit congested today. I don't know why that is. Global question 399, local question 108. Hydrogen 6.5 K can versus polonium K for 6 arc. Gassy little cartridge. Would like a lighter can. Thank you for the question, sir or ma'am. Assuming sir, since it's Otter Creek. Just kidding, Andrew. No, man, I have no idea about 6. Is it 6 ARC or 6 ARC? I feel like it's 6 ARC. Right? Right? I don't know. I hear it's a cool cartridge. Some silencers I've messed with for military applications are designated in that. Like they have that on the cartridge. Or on the cartridge. On the silencer engraved. Which is interesting. No, it is. I haven't messed with it. I also haven't evaluated the hydrogen 6.5. I guess it has a larger bore than the polonium. Basically titanium polonium with a bigger bore. Is that what that is? I would have to look and see. I don't know. It's really hard for me to give you an answer for this. Those two, I would say though, if I were a betting man, those two silencers probably are not the best choice if you want super low flow restriction. Like a super low back pressure, they're not going to be good for that. But you already know that. But hey, it doesn't mean they can't sound good, right? Especially with tuning, if it's a semi-auto, which it probably is. When you say gassy little cartridge, you're not using a bolt gun, sir. So, yeah, could tune it. Could still be gassy. I don't know. Depends on what you're doing with it. If you're like shooting a one shot, if you're like a coyote hunter, cool. If you're like blasting away at the range, different. Right? You guys know that, right? It's different. I don't know. Do you already have one of these silencers, sir? Or are you looking? Are you looking to buy one? I don't know. Like I don't know, man. Sorry, that's all I got. If you already have one, try it out, see if it works. If you don't have one yet, well, maybe reach out to the manufacturer, see if they've used one on it. I don't know. Could be cool. Or maybe you talk to a buddy that's used that cartridge on the gun. Or maybe you look at some of the Mark 18 data. You feel me? All right. It'll help. Global question 400. Local question 109. 400 guys, listen. I know I kind of make this podcast long and drawn out sometimes, and have some people complain about that? Yes. By and large, do they? No. I'll tell you right now, though, I'm going to take a couple seconds and just say to you, 400 questions? What in tarnation? 400? This is the 400th question that I've answered for you. 400. That's ridiculous. Local question 109. Ever thought of testing an MP5 SD? Or integrally suppressed barrels in general? Interested to see effect of the ported barrels on flow rate and overall science behind them. You came to the right place, sir. 1 second. Could be a girl. Right? No, it's not. No, yes. We have an MP5 SD silencer in P-Science inventory. It's an original law enforcement department trade-in. I just need the gun, and we'll be in business. Gonna get one converted. I've been really slacking on that. I just haven't had the motivation to get it converted. With regard to the influence of ported barrels on various weapon behavior parameters, it can be very interesting, and I'm glad you asked. You mentioned the MP5 SD specifically, which is a really, really neat example of that, actually. Super neat example. And we probably talked about this before, but I think it bears repeating. Back when the MP5 SD was made, subsonic 9mm ammunition was not very common. And so the ports in the barrel, would not only exhaust gas into the silencer for suppression, but it also would reduce the pressure pushing the projectile. It would bleed off the gas, which, what does that do, guys? What happens when you bleed off the gas that's pushing a projectile? Lowers your momentum transfer potential to the projectile. Oh, that's right. Lower projectile velocity. Bullet can't accelerate in the barrel as fast. So subsonic ammo wasn't very common, so what did they do? They made supersonic ammo subsonic. And how did they do it? They ported the barrel to bleed off gas momentum. Because if you bleed off gas and put that momentum outside the barrel and not in the barrel, the momentum can't get to the bullet. And if you can't get momentum to the bullet, it can't be accelerated through its push distance to the velocity at which would create a sonic crack. That is how a gun barrel works, right? You have to transfer gas momentum to projectile momentum. Right? Yeah. And so what you do is an MP5 SD is kind of cool because there are some things happening. You're making things quieter, not only due to the gas bleed off to reduce the muzzle blast potential for the silencer to deal with later in time, but you also reduce the severity of the pressure wave with a slower bullet because, yes, you're subsonic, right? And we know that you remove the shock wave, but there is still a pressure wave component. And if you drop way far down below that transonic regime, you can actually get some quiet. And we know that. Of course, it reduces the lethality, right? It reduces the lethality, but it does make it quiet. In fact, it makes it very, very quiet. Okay, that's cool. So that's a little bit about ported. That's a little bit about integrals. Not every integral has a ported barrel. The true ones usually do. Hope that helps. Good question. Global question 401, local question 110. If you could have dinner with one person, dead or alive, who would it be and why? Some family members that are no longer alive, I think. Yeah, guys, I don't know. I'm not going to get all personal on this thing. Sometimes in life, you don't get to, I'd say you do not. You're not able to interact with people in life sometimes because they die before you're old enough to do that. And I think I would very much like to do that. So there's your answer. I don't know. That's depressing, dude. I'd rather not go into that here on the podcast. But you did ask, so there's your answer. My answer is I'd like to, some people that have died that in my family. I would love to have dinner with them. Of course, if they were alive again. I don't want to have dinner with the dead bodies. That's weird. Come on, man. That is weird. You asked that question. If you could have dinner with one person, dead or alive, who would it be and why? Dude, I hope you mean like if they were like brought back to life. What, you want me to dig up people and have dinner with them now? Bro, relax. I'm making myself laugh so I don't cry. Global question 402, local question 111. Which HMT units, okay, let me start again. Which helmet-mounted thermal units do you use, and what bridge do you use to mount again? Thank you, sir. You are most welcome, sir. Thank you for the question. That's a great question. I've talked about this many times that some people might not remember or might have not heard that episode or episodes or see my lunatic posting on social media about it. So for helmet-mounted thermal, I use two solutions, sometimes simultaneously, sometimes either or. Depends on what I'm doing. The first, I use a BAE Systems Skeeter L. It's an old 320 core BAE unit. There's a Skeeter X now. It's expensive and 640 and like Mo Beta and awesome. I don't have one of those. But I also use a Voodoo S from Pixels on Target, which is a 640 unit, and it is baller. It's an issued optic right now. It does dual use. I put the Voodoo on, dude. Actually, it's like probably triple use. I put the Voodoo on my 14.5 inch 5.56. I put it on my 13-inch Scar. Those are those little flip-to-side Wilcox mounts you see on my rails. Those black things on the front rail in front of those Night Force attackers. That little black thing on the rail, that's a Wilcox flip-to-side for you can put a PVS on there, but I put the Voodoo on there anyway. I use them on those guns, and I put the Voodoo on my helmet too. And I use the Voodoo on my left eye just because the way everything's configured, just it's complicated. Don't worry about it. And then I'll run my PVS 14 on my right eye. And then the Skeeter L, I'll run on my right eye when I use the Voodoo on my left eye. And that's when I'm dual thermal gang. That's when I'm full Predator mode. And it's like super crazy, right? Like that's like, I mean, Predator mode can also be when I bridge PVS 14 and helmet mounted thermal. But I use, for all of these three things, I'm telling you right now, I use the same bridge. I use the KVC RQE bridge, the Red Queen effect bridge. It's very nice. It's very light. It seems to work for me. There are knockoffs on eBay that will actually work. You'd be surprised if you're into buying Chinese stuff. I'm not going to be your dad and tell you what to do, whatever you want. Sort of hard to find the real ones. They're out there. I hope it helps. Okay. Basically, dude, I run three things on my face: Skeeter L, Voodoo S, and PVS 14. And that's what's on my face. The two thermals are radically different, but I can nest. If I'm bridging night vision and thermal, I use Voodoo S and PVS 14. If I'm bridging thermals, obviously the two thermals. Both of those configurations are great. During the day, I will sometimes run only the Skeeter on my head and the Voodoo on the weapon. Why would I do that? Because nothing can hide from me. It's impossible. That's why. Can't hide from thermal, remember? And so if I can engage with thermal, even during the day, I will. You'd be surprised how awesome that can be. Because think about it. Imagine using night vision to try to find something. It is so hard. People are like, oh, I can see in the dark with night vision. It's like, you absolutely can. Are you going to be better at like finding something that's camouflaged with night vision than you were with during the day? It can only get worse. So what happens if you have thermal? Then you win. So why not use thermal during the day? Do you understand? The absolute power of thermal? Please join us. Join our sickness. Put thermal on your face. It's expensive. What you want to eat? You want to eat too? Let's do one more. Global question 403, local question 112. Will a silencer increase bullet velocity? If so, at what rate? Oh, man, we've talked about this before, but that's a great question. I see people ask this more and more. I don't know if has someone been advertising that it would? I hope not. I actually, guys, I gave a very, 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 not very, very. I given a relatively in-depth technical discussion about this on this podcast. I remember, I'm going back in the old memory banks. I made a dedicated topic, and I think I used the words "be careful," and then, I remember I said, be careful when you watch YouTube, because someone on YouTube said that you get like, I don't want to butcher this, but I think what the gentleman on YouTube said, if you put a silencer on like a 10-inch barrel, you're getting the velocity of like a 12-inch or like a 14-inch or something, or 12, and it's like something completely wrong. I can find it. Hold on. Just if you bear with me for a second, let me pull up the website. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to pewscience.com/podcast. There is a Google search box at the top of that page. In that box, I'm going to type the words "be careful," because I think that's what it is. Okay, results come up. Trash Panda. Yep. Yep. Episode 93. Huh. Episode 93, the Q Trash Panda on the Mark 18 and Velocity with Silencers, 22 December 2021. So in December of 2020, God, that is so crazy that worked. Dude, can I get a high five right now? Holy crap, that was clutch. Yeah, so in December of 2021, 22nd, so right before Christmas. Oh, that's right. Now I remember this. I talked the technical discussion about the Trash Panda around Christmas of 2021. Oh, that was like one of the most controversial, which is crazy because the Trash Panda did pretty good on the Mark 18, but that was like, oh, I remember this day. Oh my God. I try to push that out of I try to repress that memory. So topic 2 of that podcast, of episode 93, it says, do silencers increase muzzle velocity? They can a little bit. Let's talk about the why and how, and why you should be careful when watching YouTube. There's Jay thrashing people. No, I might have thrashed. Huh. Funny. No, but yeah. So, but yeah, go listen to that. Okay, episode 93, topic 2. But I'll say, just to save you the trouble, real quick, I'll say that yes, absolutely, silencers can increase velocity, but not very much. Okay, really. And the reason why is because of push, distance, and gas expansion. Okay? The way that more gas momentum is transferred to a projectile is partial confinement post-uncorking. Okay, I know I said some big words. Let's talk about it. There's partial gas confinement as the bullet leaves. What it can do, it can result in a certain distance. There's a certain distance past uncorking, past where the projectile leaves the muzzle of a gun. There's a certain distance that is really a pseudo. It's dangerous to say this like this, but I'm gonna grossly oversimplify this. It's almost like a pseudo barrel extension gas column region thing. It's like a little column of gas. It's a region of high pressure that is, for all intents and purposes, still imparting momentum to the projectile without full confinement. So, it depends on the silencer. There's also a specific ratio of this distance to the orifice diameter that holds true for certain regimes too. So there's some parameters where you can discretize this. It's rocket science, okay, and so it's beyond the scope of the topic. Clearly, now, so if you go listen to that episode 93, I dig a little bit into it in that old episode. Hope it helps. Don't let anyone tell you silencers increase velocity a lot, because it's simply not true. Unless the silencer has a barrel extension on the proximal end built in, but in which case it's more than a silencer, so that's really just an extra barrel extension with a silencer on the end. So that's a whole different story, and that's not your question. Okay. Hope that helps. That's a good question, and thank you for the trip down memory lane. I can't believe that search worked on the website. Don't ask me to do that again. I feel like we got lucky. All right, I'm going to highlight that. That's all for today on that. I'm going to highlight that row, and we'll move on. Oh, there's some cool questions coming next. We'll go ahead and pick that off later. I'm going to save the spreadsheet and close it. Okay, well, that topic is concluded. Okay, that's great. Making good time today too. Moving topic 3 at a time of 1 hour, 3 minutes, and 3 seconds. Okay, perfect. New sound signature review this week. This week? Yeah, there is some interesting data, and it's in a regime that's not quite yet fully explored. I know that's cryptic to you, but and the answer is not why you think. It's just we're doing something that we don't usually do, but sometimes that happens. Yeah, it was destined to happen, and some of you have asked, and it is a little out of scope. This is a little out of scope, frankly. It might be out of scope in a good way, but in this particular case, it kind of makes sense due to a certain factor. I don't know. Ordinarily, this type of silencer would not be evaluated like you will see it. It's not a really common thing for this type of silencer, but this type of silencer is a little unique for its type. Could I be any more cryptic? No, probably not, no, but I do think this will be a cool surprise. I think this will be really neat for the people to guess. I think it will be super fun to see the data and analysis. It's going to show you a phenomenon that many of you already understand, which is really cool. But some of you don't, which is also really cool. So sit back and relax. I think sit back and relax. This week is a relatively interesting silencers tested in a way that you wouldn't quite think you would want to test it in until you kind of examine the playing field and realize it just might fit. In some cases, it just might fit. Okay, so please don't kill the messenger on this one, guys. Okay, this is something that had to happen, but I do think it is fortuitous for everyone. Okay, so stay tuned. This was planned for months. This was planned for months to happen. I was going to say tomorrow, but it's Tuesday for me. It'll probably be Thursday. So this was planned for a long time. So you'll get it. Some people are going to be mad at me. Some people are going to be happy. I'm just like, whatever, dude. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Okay. Stay tuned for it. All right. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Thanks for all the support. I really do mean that. Obviously, it's made things be able to continue. Thank you for all the well wishes as Pew Science grows. That I've gotten some messages from some of you. That's, it really warms my heart. Thank you. And I say this all the time, but you folks and I are in the absolute best time right now in silencer history. It's a great time to be here, to learn, to shoot quietly, to make mistakes, to get better, to enjoy all the new technologies, to understand how the old ones perform. Slowly but surely, man, we're getting a great handle on all of it. And for me and the crew here to do this for you and get it working and continue to knock it out of the park every freaking time for you guys is just, I love it. I love my job. Okay? I really do. Stay tuned to the next day or so for some data. Make sure you're subscribed to the newsletter to get an announcement first. I promise last week I messed up and there were some things going on and newsletter didn't go out right away. That's on me. See, hopefully that'll happen better now. As I slowly give the reins on certain tasks away because I'm paranoid. Thanks, everybody. I appreciate you listening. I'll talk with you folks again soon. All right, bye.